Well, I think I'd be saying you can't get there from here, because it seems to me that the chances of this revised version, as it were, going through today do not look very, very high. And I think we're probably headed, therefore, either towards a forced exit door, and then there'll be some scrabbling around to try and make sure that that is less disastrous than it might otherwise be, or to a long extension, during which anything could happen, including possibly a general election, although in the present state of opinion in the parties that wouldn't solve anything, or a referendum.
You spent many years living in Brussels, and you talk about scrabbling around politically here. Do you expect there's going to be a lot of scrabbling around in Brussels trying to react to all of this uncertainty here?
I think from the point of view of our partners, their main focus now is on the European elections. And that's rather critical for them. It's critical because the main traditional parties are facing a threat from the populists, say, in Italy. Monsieur Macron's his first big test, as it were, of whether his party, since the French presidential elections, can really command support. So they want a degree of stability to get on with that. And to that extent, we're a distraction. I mean, my guess is that if we suddenly turn around and say, you know, actually we've decided we're going to stay, they'd probably be more pleased than not. But basically, I think now they just want to get it over and done with.
The challenge then is that if this attempt by the government to get the divorce settlement through tonight fails, we're then 13 calendar days until a new hard Brexit deadline. Parliament will once again try on Monday to find some kind of consensus around alternatives to the existing deal that's on the table. If they're not able to do that quickly enough, do you anticipate the Europeans, maybe by the 10th, 11th of April, just before that deadline, would be once again prepared to offer that extension that you're talking about?
Yeah, and I think that the thing to bear in mind is that there's no way Parliament's going to change the deal. What they can change is our idea of what we want from the European Union once we actually start the real negotiation after we've left. This withdrawal agreement is simply about leaving, and that is not open for renegotiation, I think, in any circumstances. I mean, I think our partners have reason not to want a really chaotic crash, because it affects them as well. So, I mean, there might be some extension. I mean, the crucial deadline is the 22nd of May, because that's just the eve of the European elections. So you might get a few weeks' grace, either, as I said before, to get a long extension, and I think then they would be demanding that we stay in for quite a long period, or simply trying to mitigate the worst effects of a crashing out. From that perspective, they'd be looking at it, how do we limit the damage to ourselves, rather than how do we limit the damage to the UK.
In the past, when there have been challenging moments in the European Union, there has been pretty public divisions between various countries on their positions vis-à-vis the Greek debt crisis, let's say. Over the course of the last 2 years, they have maintained quite a strong sense of unity. They have allowed the Commission often to speak on their behalf. And I wonder, when it comes to things like an extension, based on your understanding of how the institutions in Brussels work, the relationships across the European Union operate, do you think that we will suddenly start to see a bit more division between, say, France and Germany, between some of these partners inside the European Union when it comes to things like an extension length?
I think that's possible, and because I think that as you get down to the wire, people will look at their commercial interests more closely, and Germany obviously does have considerable commercial interests. I mean, the commercial tail has never wagged the political dog in Germany in that sense. I don't think you'd get a really significant sort of split on this. I mean, I think their interest in maintaining the unity of the 27 is very strong. And I mean, the biggest advantage that Brexit has had from the point of view of the rest of the European Union is that nobody now wants to leave. The Italians don't much like the situation in the euro, but they certainly don't want to leave. The Hungarians don't want to leave. The Poles don't want to leave. So in a funny kind of way, we've saved Europe by our example, bad example though it is.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.